Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Executive Director of the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Cindy Ruby Estrada.
Good afternoon. After that introduction, I don't know what to say. Thank you, Michael. The New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is proud to be the presenting sponsor for the 25th anniversary of the Competitive Edge Conference. Working with the Competitive Edge Committee, led by the one and only Zenaida Rodriguez, MTA Assistant Director, the committee chair, has been a pure pleasure with such a strong committee to be involved in this conference. May we all have a big clapping for the committee. Please, committee, stand up. Oh, okay. The New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the first and only citywide Hispanic chamber. 15 years strong, thanks to the leadership of Mr. Nick Lugo. Mr. Nick Lugo, would you please stand? As a member organization, we believe in providing resources for small businesses that we all know will contribute to the economy's vitality of all of our communities. We thank our very special chamber members, Lyft, JP Morgan, Chase and Company, MasterCard, BronxNet, Ponce Bank, and Verizon for partnering with us on bringing the gap between the private sector and the government agencies. Cheryl Wills, where are you, Cheryl? Hi, Cheryl. Thank you so much for accepting to be our Mistress of Ceremony. You have made our conference special just by being here. To our immediate team, Migdalia Taveras, MTA, our small minority-owned businesses, Love Malone of the Grandian Group, Michael Max Nabi of BronxNet, Jerry Chape of Social Society, Flericer Bello of Flericer Bello, Inc., our volunteers and interns, we want you all to know that you are very, very truly appreciated. It is with great pleasure that I welcome back my good friend and co-chair of New York Friends of Puerto Rico, Reverend Jacques de Graaf, to provide the blessings.
Good afternoon. Okay, that was your warm-up. Good afternoon. Before we go to the throne of grace, we're not going to pretend that we're a family of opportunity by just sitting next to somebody. So before we go to our prayer, we're going to ask you to look someone in the eye in a New York kind of way, not at your table. And just look them in the eye in a New York kind of way and say, I'm so glad that you are here. Now I see that no one actually got up. So that means that you've made eye contact. The God that I serve can bless food wherever it is. Since some of you decided to move forward and start to consume the food, you weren't troubled by the fact that it was unblessed. And so I spoke to the boss, and he said he would bless it wherever it is. If every hand would take a hand, hold somebody's hand. Our Father and our God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we come head bent and body bowed as humbly as we know how to say thank you. Thank you for the nourishment that we're about to receive for the benefit of our bodies. Thank you for the hands that prepared and served this meal. Thank you for this outstanding Mistress of Ceremony. We ask that you would bless the sponsors and the honorees in a special way. And would you bless our homes so that when we return, they would be as we found them. And when our praying days down here are through, our serving and praying and clapping together are through, we ask that you would make for us a home in your kingdom, just as you promised that you would. And if we laugh too much or drink too much or laugh too loud, we ask that you forgive us, Lord, and try us one more time. The people who love God said, Amen. The people who love God said, Amen. God bless you today.
Please, let's have a warm welcome for our Mistress of Ceremonies, nationally recognized award-winning television personality and anchor of New York One News, Miss Cheryl Wills.
Hey! Good afternoon, everyone. I bring you greetings from what I believe is still your favorite 24-hour cable news station, Spectrum News, New York One. Help me out. I need some support. Spectrum News, New York One. I have been there 27 years, and it has been a great honor and blessing of my life. I was supposed to come up after the singing of the national anthem, but when I heard who was here to sing the national anthem, I said, hold up, in a New York kind of way, as the good Reverend said, please allow me to introduce this outstanding New Yorker. He is a familiar face. You've seen him in the hit shows Gotham. You've seen him in Power. He is a Marine combat veteran who has served his country with valor and great pride. He is a Boricua who hails from Sunset Park, Brooklyn. That'll wake you up. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage actor J.W. Cortes to sing the national anthem.
Should we stand for the national anthem? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? USA.
I wanted to introduce him? You will see him on New York One real soon. I'm going to promise you that. We're going to do a feature on him. He's an amazing, amazing man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 25th anniversary of the Competitive Edge Conference. It is an honor to be here, to be a part of a conference dedicated to promoting opportunities to the community of minority-owned businesses. And I want to take a second and call up the chair of today's event, Zenaida. Can we give Zenaida a round of applause? There she is. Zenaida, come on up. I want to show you, give you a little gift. When I came in this wonderful hall, there were a lot of people here, Michael Garner and Dr. Jacques de Graaf and the governor, so many people I'm familiar with, and so many people have been on my talk show, In Focus with Cheryl Wills. This is a shameless plug, but isn't this what today is about? Every Sunday, 10:30, 3:30 p.m., we do a variety of issues, especially surrounding small businesses. And I want to give this to you. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So today's conference is planned by a committee comprised of city and state procurement officials. They represent agencies whose goal is to promote opportunities and capacity building programs specific for the minority business, all in an effort to increase workforce development and increase access to contract opportunities within their respective agencies. These individuals facilitate the process for becoming certified under various programs with the government. This process, as so many of you know, is not easy. And once certified, the real work begins for all businesses here today. We are gathered here to recognize individuals who make success look easy. People like Tamia and Everett Perry, Eileen Guzzo, the Velez Organization, Alpesh Patel, Francisco Cortes, Deborah White, Ida Parrish, and I can't wait to hear from a 14-year-old businessman who goes by the name of Corey Nieves. He's 14 years old. He's a baking prodigy. Before you leave here, make sure you get your teeth into Mr. Corey's cookies and let him know New York City is still the best place in the world to start a small business. And ladies and gentlemen, we're also honored to have with us today the 55th governor of the great state of New York. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Honorable David A. Patterson.
Now that I have left office, I gave up that blind act. To Zenaida Rodriguez and to Cindy Estrada and Renee Sachs and to all of you who've invited me to speak here today, thank you very much. When I first got into government, I wanted to be a voice for those that didn't have voices. And I wanted to give power to people and situations that I saw as powerless. And for a number of years, I tried to do that, working on writing the first hate crimes bill that New York ever had, child sexual abuse, domestic violence, immigration issues, housing discrimination, and memorializing the African burial grounds in Lower Manhattan. And in 2003, when I became the minority leader of the New York State Senate, there was an attempt to extend Article 15A of the executive law, which provided for opportunity for women and minority-owned businesses. So I asked a staff member of mine just to read about this so that when I gave my support to it and spoke about it, I would understand a little better. And he came back and said to me, Article 15A as it stands today is not worth the paper it's printed on. And the reason he said that is that the MWBE program, for those of you who don't know, was started in New York in 1983 by Governor Mario Cuomo. At one point, he had 75 state employees working in the MWB office. But in 1990, there was a very adverse United States Supreme Court decision known as Croson versus Richmond. And it was followed up by other similar cases, Martin v. Rich and Patterson, no relation, versus AT&T. And in those cases, it basically said that you could not provide for any special assistance for minority or women-owned businesses until you had a trail of data that established that there was systemic discrimination. So Governor Cuomo really had his program sort of on ice for a few years, and Governor Pataki did nothing about it. So by 2003, women in this state, women-owned businesses, 29.2% of them that were certified to do business by the state got 2.63% of the state's procurement. Hispanic businesses, they were 8% of those who were certified by the state, meaning you can do business with them, but only 0.75% of the Hispanic businesses got any business. African Americans, 2/3 of 1%, 0.66, even though they were 7% of those who were pre-cleared by the state's system of determining who would be certified. If you wanted to carry it further, we actually did once, African American women businesses, 0.13. That's 1/7 of 1%. And we decided if we ever find out who that woman was, we were going to have a party for her. So at that point, I started fighting for the opportunities for women and minority-owned businesses in the state, but I realized that a lot of the other legislators were so directed as I was to different types of service that no one was really dealing with the business community. So in 2006, when I was offered to run for lieutenant governor by Governor Spitzer, I told him, I'll do it if we strengthen the MWBE program. And it is my sad duty to tell you that when we got in office in 2007, we didn't do anything. And as much as a gentleman who worked in the office named Carl Andrews and I pushed the governor, and he always seemed to understand what we were saying, but nothing actually happened. And then I became governor. And we won't discuss how I became governor, but other than it was the best benefit I ever got from sex, and I wasn't even there. So, can you imagine that one day you're lieutenant governor, no one really talks to you, no one ever tells you anything that's going on, and now you're standing in front of the governor's main staff, about 85 employees in the governor's cabinet, and I asked them one question: whatever happened to my MWBE program? I've never seen more people run out of a room faster in my life. And we, with the effort of Paul Williams, who was here earlier, and many other people, Kara Wallace, who's also here, and Daz Velez, who's also here, who worked in my administration, we changed those numbers, improving the minority business opportunities to 13% and the women-owned business opportunities to 17% in only 3 years. And so, yeah, I thought you would like that. So, but the battle is still being waged. And what we really need to be doing now is take what we've done in the public sector and promote it more in the private sector. The public sector, oddly enough, usually leads the way in these particular areas. But there are still so many areas for minority and women-owned businesses and also businesses owned by people with disabilities that aren't getting the opportunity that they rightly deserve. And so at this lunch today, and with the programs that are going on all day and all afternoon, we think that we're taking more and more steps in that direction. The giant leap doesn't just have to be on the moon. It has to be in providing opportunities for companies that have the ability and often don't get the opportunity. One of the problems that we had right here in New York is so many minority business owners got tired of being rejected for public procurement that they went back to states like Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. All three of those states are on the top 10 of Black Enterprise's list of leaders in the minority business area. At the time, New York was 46. Well, we got to the top 10 in a short period of time, which demonstrates that if you have strong leadership at the executive levels, you can get things done in a hurry. We're very happy that Governor Andrew Cuomo has continued that fight, particularly in the construction and the rebuilding of LaGuardia and Kennedy airports. So thank you to the governor who is sitting in that office now. And now I want to introduce you all to someone. Dynamic, articulate, perceptive, courageous, outspoken. Just some of the words that describe our keynote speaker for today, Anthony S. Kendall. He is the head, the chairman, and the CEO of Mitchell Titus. Now you know that you're getting old when, you know how you hear these names, but then when you knew these people, I knew Mitchell, I knew Titus. I am old. But he, for the last 10 years, has served in that capacity, growing the organization to the largest minority accounting firm in the United States, with offices in New York, New York City, Newark, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Chicago. So this gentleman honed his skills at Binghamton College and at Harvard University, getting degrees in tax and finance and accounting. His vision really is that if the service is personal enough, that the service needs by that entity will grow, and they'll come right back to you if you gave them the right service. For that reason, the firm Mitchell Titus provides professional services to business, to government, to unions, to people in the educational field, people in healthcare, to entertainment entities, and that's how they've grown to the size that they have today. This man, Tony Kendall, has done everything. Actually, in 1996, he knocked out Mike Tyson in a fight in Las Vegas. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Evander Holyfield. But Tony has done so many great things, I wouldn't be surprised if it was him. Please meet Tony Kendall.
Wow. All right, Governor. I don't know if I should thank you or I should leave now, because after those words, I don't know what I can say. But Governor, I will tell you this. I will invite you to my home so we can have dinner with my daughters, because once you introduce me to them, they may believe I know something. Good afternoon. I am honored to have been asked to be the keynote speaker today. As the governor mentioned, minority businesses are very important to this city, this state, and this country. And as I stand before you today, I'm a testament of what can happen to someone when you believe in yourself and you have a vision that no means yes. No means yes. I remember the days when I was really young and my mother would say to me, literally, boy, you better go get that done. And I respond to her and say, not sure, Mom. And she said, what do you mean you're not sure? And I say, I'm not sure. And her response was, oh, you sure? You're about as sure as I know you're going to be, and you're going to get it done. I want to thank Cheryl Wills for accepting to be the Mistress of Ceremonies. I want to thank the New York City Hispanic Chamber for their support. Also want to recognize all the other awardees today. All of you are well-deserving. Thank you for your contribution to the minority community. It is small businesses like yours that make this engine run. We need you. I hope each and every one of you get a contract while you are here today. I mean, that is the objective of this conference, right? Right, that is the objective, right? So if they do not leave with an additional contract today, we have not done our job. And that means all of us, right? We are here to promote minority businesses. So if all we're going to do is recognize them with awards today, I promise you all of them have awards already. What they need is some contracts and some money in their pocket so they can grow their businesses and they can hire diverse employees. So let's support them through contracts and not just through awards. When you think about competitive edge, 26 years ago, Mario Torres and others decided to form this organization. I'm sure that their vision back then, wasn't to have a 25th annual conference like this. I mean, this conference is simply outstanding. Give yourself a round of applause. All businesses need a competitive advantage. And what is the definition of a competitive advantage? It's a condition or circumstance that makes a company, it puts a company in a favorable or superior position. The competitive edge is a competitive advantage for minority businesses in New York City and New York State. We are welcome and we thank you for your support. All the members that I have met at the Competitive Edge over the years, you have a couple things in common. Each of you are talented, committed, creative, care about minority businesses, and many of you could have pursued something else with greater financial rewards, but you decided to do what you are doing. Your sacrifices are our gains. When I travel across this city, this state, or this country, you see and hear so much economic activity taking place, whether it be at the Hudson Yard just a few blocks away, or Jamaica, Queens, the South Bronx, Long Island, or certain regions upstate. All of those are opportunities for government interchange through fees, taxes, or revenue. The members of the Competitive Edge are in a unique position because all those funds ultimately are dispersed. The 2018 Comptroller's Report stated something that we should all be displeased with. And I don't know if this microphone is working. Okay. The report stated that in New York City, people of color and women make up 84% of the population and 64% of the businesses. And just listen to that, 84 and 64. However, in New York City, last year, 2018, only 6% of the contracts were awarded to minority businesses. 6%. There's something wrong with that number. I mean, I can do math. I mean, that's what I do for a living, right? So I can do math. 6% when you represent 84%. We could do better, and we must do better. When we sit here as a governor is saying the state of New York may be doing better, but there's still a lot of room for the state of New York to do better too. We can't accept that minority businesses are getting less than 10% of the contracts in this city. I mean, if we make up such a large portion of the population, don't we deserve to also receive a larger portion of the contracts? I mean, isn't that only fair? Now, there was a silver lining in all that bad news. Women-owned businesses began to get more traction, so that's a good thing. But we need to make sure that all minority businesses get more traction. Even though I'm disappointed in these results, I'm not that discouraged. I'm optimistic. And you probably ask why. Because results like this afford us an opportunity to create change. It afford us an opportunity to kind of disrupt the business. And that's what we need to do in this city and in this state. We do not need to sit idle. We don't need to be passive. We don't need to be afraid. We need to be bold, absolutely bold. And as a minority business, don't be afraid to ask for business. You earned it. You're good. Stand up and say, I deserve more business. Don't act like it's a handout, because it's not a handout. At the end of the day, the business will get done, and you are qualified, so why not by you? Why not by you? You are qualified. When I look across this country and I think about Mitchell and Titus and some of the things that we're able to do here in New York and other locations, I'm proud of that. But I also wonder, why is it that we do more business in all the other locations other than Jersey that we are than in New York City? And we were founded here in New York City in 1974. I am concerned about that. I am very concerned about that. This is our home. This is our city. We should participate in all the wealth in this city and in this state. So I say to all of you, we are here to help, but we want to be part of the solution and we want to participate. Now, one of the things I think that always holds us back is something that we don't discuss. And I tell you what that is. Our unconscious biases. All of us can work hard to have all these new laws passed. Men and women could have good deeds and good intentions. But unfortunately for all of us, our unconscious biases somehow get in the way. All of us have them. I have them. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't have biases, because I do. And many of our biases, we are unaware of them. They have been passed down to us by generation after generation. And we don't even understand why we have them and how we deal with them. I'll give you a simple example. I had a friend. He didn't eat apples. And I would always say to him, John, why don't you eat apples? He said, I don't like them. I said, okay. Why don't you like apples? I don't know. I said, John, have you ever had an apple? He said, no. So I said, John, do you have apples in your house? He said, no. And then he paused and said, oh, yeah, my sister, she's weird. She eats anything. And what I realized from that, his parents didn't eat apples. So whether or not he was biased towards apples, it wasn't because he had ate an apple and didn't like it. It was very simple. He had some biases that were created in his household that he didn't even realize, that he didn't even try an apple to determine whether or not he liked the apple. He just decided he didn't like apples. Well, that happens to me. That happens to all of us. We need to have a dialogue about our biases. We need to be willing to accept that those biases sometimes allow us and encourage us to do things we shouldn't do. Just because you have biases, that doesn't make you a racist. You can have a whole lot of biases and you're not a racist. I don't want somebody to think that I'm saying if you have biases, you're a racist. You're not. But I will tell you, if you have biases and you never ever recognize them, you can't be the best that you can be because your biases are influencing your decisions and you don't even know it. So you think about that. You have these subconscious biases that are influencing your life, influencing the decisions you make, the people you meet, and you don't even know why. I would ask that all of us, throughout this day, just take a moment, don't take a lot of time, and I want you just to reflect on some of the biases you have. And then I want you to ask yourself, why do I have those biases? And I want you to be honest with yourself. You don't have to say it out loud, but I want you to be honest with yourself why you have those biases. And then when you depart today, I want you to make a commitment only to yourself. No one else has to know this. One of those biases that you have identified, you are going to begin to work on today, and you're going to commit, regardless of how long it takes, to overcome that one bias. Just that one. Because when you do that one, that will give you the strength and the courage to go for 2, 3, and so on. But you need to start, you need to accept, and you need to recognize that it's a human thing for us to have biases. It was one thing I was supposed to do when I started, and I didn't, but I'm going to do it now. I was supposed to be brief, bright, and be gone. I think I got one of those, not all 3. I think I got one of them. But I want to leave you with a story before I depart. And the story is about a young girl. Young girl was with her father, and they were walking along the beach. It was early in the morning. The sand was littered with hundreds of starfish that washed up on shore as a result of a storm. The young girl began to carefully pick each one up and toss it back into the sea. Her father looked at her. She tossed another one. Her father soon became perplexed. And he asked her, "What are you doing? Why do you keep doing that? There are so many starfish on this beach. It is not going to make a difference to their fate. There are hundreds of them. They're all lying here. They are doomed." The little girl listened respectfully. She picked up another starfish. She threw it into the ocean. And she said to her dad, "Well, it makes a difference to that one." And it really does make a difference. So I ask all of us to remember, all our actions have an impact on someone. Let's be mindful of what we say and what we do, because it will truly make a difference in this world. Thank you.
Let's give Mr. Kendall another round of applause. He spoke truth to power. The 25th anniversary of Competitive Edge Conference is a tireless effort. Zenaida, you and the committee have done a tremendous job, and we thank our presenting sponsor, the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and our platinum sponsors, ACOM Tishman, ACOM Hunt, MasterCard, Master Your Card, the MTA, and Battery Park City Authority. All right, now we're officially ready to get our awards show rolling. Before we do, we need everyone with a smartphone to please hold it up Can I see some smartphones? Okay, very good. Go to your Instagram app. I already started you off. And follow us at C-Edge Conference. C-Edge Conference. At C-Edge Conference or hashtag C-Edge Conference 25. Take lots of pictures. Just don't answer your phone, okay? All right, Michael, you ready?
You bet, Cheryl. All award presenters this afternoon are Competitive Edge Committee members. Ladies and gentlemen, here to present our first award is Gregory Glasgow from the New York City School Construction Authority.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to present the MBE Award for the Competitive Edge Conference this year. I have a lot of admiration for the firm that's about to receive this award, Urban Ecospace. Because when you see a husband and wife team build a successful business, you know they have a special relationship. Because not everyone can work with their spouse and come home to their spouse every night. Okay. Urban Ecospace is in the SCA Mentor Program, and it's a 4-year program where they've graduated in 3 years. And they've moved into our Graduate Mentor Program. In the last 2 months, they've won $1.5 million worth of contracts bidding against other firms. So this is not an award, so they have to sharpen their pencils to win. Plus, they're also doing work for DDC, OGS, and the MTA. So I would like to bring up Everett Perry and Tamia Perry to receive their awards as the MBE firm of the conference.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we would like to extend our thanks to the Competitive Edge Conference Committee for this special recognition. Urban Ecospaces is a real estate development and construction firm. We are an MBE business, but we are also a WBE business, which means I own most of the company. Now, the only reason I highlight that point is because the construction industry is typically a male-dominated industry. So if you do the work, you can also stand as a testament that you can achieve all the big dreams and goals that you set for yourself. A pivotal reason why we are here is because of mentorship, and that's just something I want to quickly highlight for everyone. The power of mentorship is phenomenal. So I encourage all rising companies that are attempting to grow their businesses to seek out and be a part of the various mentoring and training opportunities offered by New York City and New York State agencies. We entered the area of public construction in late 2015 with zero experience and zero background in public construction. I actually had been a practicing attorney for 13 years doing commercial litigation, which is an area far removed from construction or working on public contracts. And through events like this conference, we became aware of various mentoring programs like the SCA's mentor program. In 2016, we were accepted into that program and took advantage of all the classroom and training sessions that were offered. And we also signed up and joined the MTA's mentoring program, a mentor program offered by HBD, and a mentor program offered by EDC called Construct NYC. And during the past 3 years, we have reaped tremendous benefit as a result of being a part of these programs. We got a first-rate and free education on how to do business with city and state agencies. We have completed over 100 contracts with city and state agencies in 3 years. We had the capacity to open an office in Puerto Rico in 2018, where in a 9-month period, we completed over 650 hurricane-damaged homes. These were homes that were impacted by Hurricane Maria, and we are still active there seeking new opportunities to help the island of Puerto Rico recover. And for us, is what is really substantial is since we began public contracting in late 2016, we have seen an 8-fold increase in our revenue in the past 3 years. So again, the key takeaway is that mentorship connections are essential. So do the work to establish connections that will ensure your success. And let me not be remiss, this is my partner, Everett Perry. He serves as the president of the company, so he has a pivotal role in leading and directing the company. Would you like to say something?
So we got to go home tonight, so just what she said.
Here to present our next award is Anthony Peterson of the Department of Citywide Administrative Services.
Wow, just got a new job, so that's great. Disadvantaged business enterprises, also known as DBEs, are for-profit small business where socially and economically disadvantaged individuals own at least 51% interest and also control management and daily business operations. To be regarded as an economically disadvantaged business, an individual must have a personal net worth that does not exceed $1.32 million. I'd like to have 10% of that. To be seen as a small business, a firm must meet SBA size criteria and have an average annual gross receipt not to exceed $23.98 million. As a master electrician, Mr. Alfish knew it was important to take his skilled trade to another level. He started Volt App electrical contract in 2006. As a disadvantaged business enterprise, Mr. Alfish has been awarded contracts to work with the MTA. We are confident many more will follow. Mr. Alfish, it is an honor to present you with the Sdv Award of Excellence.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alpesh Patel, Voltamp Electrical. Voltamp incorporated in 2006, started baby steps in transit. Mr. Garner, who helped me so much graduating in the small business program. As of now, Voltamp is doing very substantial electrical work in very specialized work, especially in fan plants, pump rooms, various stations, circuit breaker houses, substations. Very few electrical contractor can achieve this kind of work, and we have done very successful work. The user is very happy accepting our work, and I'm really glad that you consider us our candidature to award this prestigious award. And again, I will thank Mr. Garner again and again to have me achieve whatever we plan and came to this stage. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michelle Bent of the City University Construction Fund.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A woman-owned business enterprise is typically certified by a third party, city, state, or federal agency. Eileen Guzzo is the president and CEO of Donnelly & Moore, a woman-owned IT firm. From a $1,000 investment in 1997, Donnelly & Moore has grown to over $10 million in sales today. Their customer base includes MTA, NYPA, LIPA, NYSCA, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Merrill Lynch, West Point U.S. Military Academy, Morgan Stanley, Harvard Business School, Publishing, just to name a few. Although she holds many certifications, today it is our honor to present the WBE Award of Excellence to Ms. Eileen Guzzo, President of Donnelly & Moore.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to everyone. I first and foremost want to thank the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for putting this together. Nick Lugo, the trailblazer, the man, the pioneer that thought of this idea of putting his Hispanic Chamber of Commerce together. Thank you, Nick. I also want to thank all of the organizations forming part of this amazing supercharged business conference today, especially the Competitive Edge, marking its 25th anniversary. Zenaida Chape Rodriguez, thank you very much for leading the way. And I want to thank you all for welcoming all of us small businesses here today. I'm Eileen Guzzo, founder and CEO of Donnelly & Moore, an IT consulting and recruiting firm here in New York City, serving a wide variety of customers in the private and government sector, as it was mentioned prior. I just want to tell you a little bit about my story from my heart, because I think it's a story of a lot of loss, but a lot of perseverance, consistency, and of great achievement, although many obstacles presented themselves in my way. So if you allow me, I'll take 2 minutes and just tell you a little bit about who I am and how I got here. So I come originally from Neuquén, which is a province in the south of Argentina. My mother had a dream for me to live in America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, which is what it is. I've come to realize that after being here for many years. I came alone to the US at 18 years old. And through a lot of hard work, very simple jobs like cleaning homes, different things I did to get through and put myself through college. I graduated summa cum laude with a BA in Media Studies in 1995. Thank you. Thank you. Sadly, my parents did not see the realization of their dream of me living here and going to school in the US. In their honor, particularly my mother, I set out with great determination to realize my ambitions. Once I was granted a working visa here in the US, I began as a salesperson in the textile industry. After several months and a generous gift of $1,000 from my uncle in Argentina, I started this IT consulting firm 22 years ago. So now you can figure out my age. I was the only employee working out of a rented basement, equipped with only a telephone and a fax. That was all I owned in the very beginning, and my tenacity. I officially incorporated in early 1997. To get the business going, I did a lot of cold calling, a lot of networking. I'm good at that, and I enjoy it. I hosted a lot of networking events. in the beginning and participated in a lot of the PTAC, BNI, Chambers of Commerce, New York City Small Business Services, and the like that put out great networking events where you can meet potential customers, right? And through that, I got some of my first jobs in the IT world, which were system conversions and upgrades in the financial sector. Everything was going smooth. It all had started. It was a couple of years in the making. And then the unthinkable happened, 9/11. With the majority of my business in Lower Manhattan in the financial sector, my business was destroyed. So I had to release all my personnel and virtually start over a few years later. I went to work for somebody else, a very large systems integration company, where I learned a lot for the next couple of years. And then within a couple of years, decided to give it a whirl again at my own thing. I used that time, though, to develop a new strategy and uncover an opportunity with supplier diversity. So in 2003, I started working again with Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, UBS, and others. And at that time, I started getting all these different certifications that I learned about after 10 years of being in business. So around that time, I got MWBE certified by New York City Small Business Services, New York State Economic Development Corporation, which allowed me to gain a foothold in the bidding process for city and state contracts. We also achieved great distinction being certified as an 8A firm, which gave me tremendous opportunities in the federal market space, working with the Department of Defense on super cool, cutting-edge technology projects. So with all of you today, opportunities were out there for me, but I had to seek them out. So it's been 22 years since I started my business in a basement with a telephone and a fax and a can-do attitude. Since then, the company has grown exponentially. We've consulted, as it was mentioned before, for a lot of major corporations, private and government. But since I was a young girl in Argentina, in the south of Patagonia, in the middle of the desert, in a very small town, in front of a beautiful lake, I always dreamed of owning a business. My parents taught me about hard work, integrity, and working through my fears. I remember when I first started in the US, in this business world, that I was afraid of getting on the phone because I thought I wouldn't understand what the people were saying to me on the other side, and they wouldn't understand my broken language back then, which is a lot better today. Facing your fears and challenges is something that you will do every day as a business owner. I am able to do it because I love what I do, I care about my dream, and I care about my business. We continue to work, to ask questions, to understand what is needed, to do what is needed for my business and for my clients. I no longer have that telephone and that fax machine in that rented basement from 1996, 1997, but I still have my faith and tenacity, and I still have this business. So thank you for welcoming me today and allowing me to share my story. I hope I can inspire the younger generations coming behind, and that's what I leave with you today. Thank you.
He's the former Battery Park City Authority Director of Diversity Programs. Please welcome Anthony Peterson, the Executive Director of Crescent Consulting.
I got a job, I lost a job. But it's all fun. Francisco Cortes is the CEO and co-founder of the global communication firm called SETRA Group, Incorporated. He is a proud U.S. Army and National Guard veteran. The SETRA Group is federally certified service-disabled veteran-owned business and nationally certified minority business enterprise. In just under 2 years since launch, the SETRA Group has been awarded a multi-year contract with the state of New Jersey for advertising and public relations, becoming the first SDV to win a contract in the state and awarded the first federal government contract with the state United States Veterans Affairs. And before I say it's an honor, let me just say This is a way we give back to all the servicemen and women that are out there helping us all each and every day. So I'm really honored to present Francisco Cortes with the Sdv Award of Excellence.
Good afternoon, everyone. Did I wake you? By the way, who is the voice of God? That is awesome. God, that is so cool. I want to take a second to ask if there are any veterans, brave men and women who have served. Please stand and be recognized. Please stand. Thank you. Thank you for your service. I am the CEO of the Set Rock Group, and I am also the president of the New Jersey State Veterans Chamber of Commerce. I was going to come up here and sing like my cousin. My cousin is J.W. Cortes, but I cannot sing. I'd like to take a second to actually thank the Competitive Edge Conference for this amazing recognition. It is important to recognize not only minority businesses, but veterans. The number of veterans that actually start businesses after they leave the military is incredibly small. The number of service-disabled veterans that start businesses after they leave the military is even smaller. So we thank you for the recognition. I've received a lot of training in the military. I've jumped out of planes. I've conducted tank missions in the desert. But honestly, there is no training that I have received by the government that could have prepared me for what is entrepreneurship. Let me tell you, it is challenging and it is very difficult. For all of the agencies in attendance that have never worked with a veteran business, I urge you to do so, and I'll give you 3 reasons why. Veterans are mission-driven and will not stop until you're one satisfied customer. We are always the first to arrive on a project and the last to leave. Third, and most importantly, if we're ever under a zombie attack and we're in your office, we would know what to do. We're ready. Many benefits. But honestly, I'm up here and I'm humbled and I'm honored, but I could not have been here without the tremendous support of many. Many people like Colonel Cantor, who is the CEO of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce, my cousin, he's probably making a movie somewhere, he's walking around. Our president, my wife, who stands beside me, and although I am the quote-unquote soldier in the family and in the business, she's the drill sergeant of the company and makes sure that we push on forward. Fleischer, where's Ms. Bayo? Is she around? My good friend who has supported me through my vision since I have launched and always called me to check up on me, thank you. And you're actually one of the reasons that I am here, so I thank you as well. I stand before you telling you that veterans and minority business owners do not like handouts. We don't want them. What we do want is opportunities. So I will walk the room, and if there's anything I can do for any of the agencies here with marketing or advertising, I'd be happy to help you. But more importantly, my goal is to continue to help veterans do what I've done in such a small amount of time. In 2 years, we have managed to open a business in Madison Avenue. We have business offices in New Jersey, and we plan to expand. But none of that means anything until I pay it forward for the next generation of veterans. So thank you for the recognition. It's an honor, and I hope to speak to each and every one of you before I leave. Thank you.
Congratulations, and thank you for your great work. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome for Competitive Edge Chair, Zenaida Rodriguez.
Wow, Max, that's fabulous voice. Wow. Hi again. Before I announce this next awardee, I wanted to say something. For some of you that have been around, years ago, we did a conference at the Competitive Edge. Here, Competitive Edge, Chelsea Pierce. And Mike had just come on board to the MTA, and he was sitting next to me. And I brought my daughter and my son. My daughter was in college, and my son was working. And so he always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and so Mike says, come on, pull him up there, pull him up there. I said, like, he wants me to bring my kids up here? Goodness gracious. But after that thought, I brought him up here. And so they never forgot this conference, Competitive Edge. And so I just want to say that they're here today. I just want to say that I have my son, who is now an entrepreneur of the Social Society, who has done the social media for this conference. If you could please stand. Sorry, I'm going to blast you. Okay. And moving on to the next generation, I also have his daughter here, who is my granddaughter, Ayana Chape. And so thank you, Mike. Because I would have never done that, okay? And then you kept nudging me. You know when Mike nudges you, you got to do it. So thank you. And so I wanted to also start that off because this next award is a very special one. All awards are special, but this one is kind of touched my heart because it comes in a twofold. The Velez organization is a second-generation construction firm started in 1972 by her father, the late Andrew Velez. And so some of you have seen Liz in events and everything, and you know, there's this Hispanic man that used to stand right by her or stand behind her, and it was hard to approach Liz because this serious guy was just standing there, but he reminded me of that Puerto Rican man of a father that I had, and today we remember him. Ms. Velez, however, has successfully earned a position as one of the integral principals of Velez organization. She is a recognized advocate and a spokesperson on diversity and construction industry issues. Today, we would like to honor the Velez organization, the family, in honor of the late Andrew Velez. The Clarence Jean Swanston Award, the Clarence Jean Swanston Leadership Award of Excellence has a significance behind it. The significance of this award is that Jean, as we called him, was one of our beloved and most dedicated committee members way back when I first started. He was called to rest in the early 2000s. Jean was committed to paying it forward, and for that reason, his legacy has created opportunities for many others. This award was created for certified firms that, in addition to their day-to-day work, they are creating programs within their organizations to assist in the advancement of new entrepreneurs. Andrew Velez was yet a silent but strong will, and Liz, the Velez organization, you are that firm. Thank you for the work that you do within your professional community and the contributions you make outside of it. Please come up and accept the Clarence Jean Swanston Award for Leadership Excellence. Thank you. No, you got it. Oh, we will take a picture.
Well now, buenas tardes amigos y amigas. Zenaida, thank you so much for your amazing words. They so touched my heart, but I know they touched the heart at table 12, my family's table for sure. Zenaida, you have always been such a truly passionate and strong leader in the MWBE community, and you need to know that we recognize everything that you have done. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Yes. 25 years the Competitive Edge Conference has been going on, 25 years. And in 25 years, a lot has changed, but sadly, a lot hasn't changed. And we've heard about some of that today in some of our panel discussions. We still very much need voices to continue to move the needle towards economic empowerment for all of us. When Zenaida told me that my father, Andrew Velez, was receiving this prestigious leadership award, I had so many emotions, gratitude, happiness, but sadness too that he's not here in person to accept the award. We just lost him in February. Andrew Velez entered into the construction industry as a carpenter. About 10 years later, he opened up his construction firm, the Velez Organization. That was almost 50 years ago. And he did it for the reason a lot of us do this and become entrepreneurs. It's to support his family. And so please, I'd like to give another shout out to table number 12, my mother who won't come up with me, my sister, my son is over there. Thank you. My father was not afraid to use his voice, even though Zenaida's right, he was very soft-spoken. He wasn't afraid to use his voice, much like other private sector businessmen warriors that we had that are no longer with us, like Gilbert Rivera or Darrell Green, or Cindy Estrada, Henry Estrada, champions of our industry. They kicked open the doors to economic empowerment and to opportunities. They had a level of courage that we all need in this room today to continue to move forward. Nowadays, it can be a challenge to use your voice, especially if you've got an accent or you may look like me or other people in the room, especially if you look different. My friends, we have the right and we have the privilege to use our voice for true economic change. We cannot be afraid. We must have the courage, like the people before us have come, to open up those doors and to continue opening up those doors so that we can all level the playing field. Thank you all for having a voice and for giving me the courage to use mine as well. Pa'lante. Forward.
Pa'lante. Please welcome Michael Clay from the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have the distinct pleasure and honor to represent a good friend, a colleague, and as Liz just mentioned, a voice in the MWBE supplier diversity world for a number of years. That individual is Deborah J White. Deborah and I go back probably when I had a little bit more hair, but I won't say that. I was old back then. Deborah was real young. But Deborah provided, her and I met through the MWBE effort. Deborah started in 1990 with the Power Authority. Deborah started something that, for the old timers in the room, remember the purchasing exchange? Okay, where she would be reaching out to folk and say, hey, you coming to my purchasing exchange? Okay, but it was Deborah's commitment, and as Liz mentioned, we are getting fewer and fewer voices to talk about supplier diversity, to talk about MWBE, and to talk about equality. And Deborah is going to be retiring in another week or two. And we're losing a tremendous voice, a tremendous advocate, and someone who has devoted a good portion of her professional life to ensuring that minority women, service-disabled, veteran-owned businesses are given an ample opportunity to get access to capital and contract opportunities at, I believe, the country's largest utility. And I wanted to say thank you to Deborah, because her work that she has done, her body of work, is not something that was in a job description. It was not something that someone told her to do. It was her passion. It was in her heart. Deborah is also a past chair, as myself, of the Competitive Edge. So we've labored with Zenaida. We've labored with other past chairs to ensure that this conference was the premier conference in the New York metropolitan area, where minority and women-owned businesses and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses could come to learn how to do procurement, to learn how to do business with all of us. And we can't lose sight of that. And the people like Deborah and others, as they move on to the next chapter of their life and endeavors, we need to say thank you. I would ask everyone please to stand up and to give Deborah a round of applause. Deborah J. White.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mike. That was wonderful. Thank you. I am honored and humbled and proud to be a part of this amazing organization and to receive the Legacy Award. I'd like to congratulate all of the other awardees honored here today, and especially to my sister in legacy, Miss Ida Parrish. We have fought the good fight together for a long time, and I am honored to share this with you. Congratulations to the Competitive Edge for celebrating 25 years. That's 25 years. That's quite an achievement. We must have been doing something right. The Competitive Edge over those 25 years has done amazing work and impacted hundreds and maybe thousands of diverse suppliers in one way or another. So please help me acknowledge and congratulate this Competitive Edge on 25 years. That's 25 years of MWBE advocacy, education, and support, and 25 years of successfully doing anything, again, deserves that applause. You know, I almost feel like I should give this Legacy Award to the Competitive Edge for all the extraordinary accomplishments achieved over the years, but nah, I think I'll keep it. In closing, I never served, advocated, or fought for my diverse suppliers in anticipation of accolades or awards, but I have to say it's especially rewarding to receive this award and be recognized by my peers as I end my working career with the New York Power Authority. I will cherish this award and remember you always. It's been my honor and pleasure serving you over the 39 years in New York Power Authority. Once again, my sincere thanks to the Competitive Edge and the Competitive Edge Committee. Thank you.
Let's welcome Glenessa Gordon of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I just love that voice, and that voice saying my name. I'm actually was hoping that I'd get something when I got up here with that voice. Well, it gives me great pleasure to present this award. Sometimes in some places, when you hear somebody's name, that name represents something. In the Port Authority, this name was synonymous with the Office of Business Diversity and Civil Rights, which is now the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. When someone said what we used to call it was OBDCR, everybody immediately thought of Ida Parrish. Ida Parrish was in that office for more than, well, about 25 years. During that 25 years, she became the assistant director in the office. And during that time, everybody who knew Ida knew how passionate she was about the program. She had many accomplishments while she was there. During that time, she actually, and you can read it in the bio, some of her accomplishments that she had, but in terms of developing programs, ensuring that our tenants and that contractors at MWBEs had opportunities with our tenants at our facilities, as well as with Port Authority work. One of her, I won't say last accomplishments, but a big accomplishment that she made before she left was overseeing the disparity program that we had, or development of the disparity study. And that was instrumental because it led to us increasing our goals from 17% to 30%. But we had always been striving to go above and beyond because of a lot of the projects and the programs that Ida instituted while she was there. During that time, we gave approximately almost $2 billion over the last 5 years to MWBE contracts. And with these accomplishments, she remains a legacy in our agency. Again, if you know Ida, those of you who worked with her in our group or at the agency, she was a force to be recognized with. You know, in one way, she looked up to me because I'm a couple of inches taller than she is, but I always looked up to her. Ida had a lot of passion for the program, so we all looked up to her because of the passion that she had. One of the things that she also left with us in our group was integrity. She ensured that we had integrity first and that we strived to get it right. She's, if you know her, she's a longtime resident of Queens. When she retired, I asked her if she was moving to Florida. She said no. And I could see that she has passion for the region. She continues to participate in organizations in the region in New York area. And she continues to support and promote minority and women business entrepreneurs. Ida, for me, for those at table 9, as well as for others in the room, you're a legacy. Thank you for all of your work with the Port Authority.
Always have to put this down. Anyway, thank you so much, Gladessa. Gladessa was really my right-hand person when I was in my office, and she was always, whenever I needed something, she would always be there, and so I'm so grateful to her and that she's actually was giving me this award. But I really have to thank the Competitive Edge. Receiving a legacy award makes me feel old, but I have to say, I was part of the planning committee 20 years ago. I remember Mario Torres was also a very passionate individual, very passionate about minority and women-owned business owners getting a piece of the contracting opportunities at the state of New York. And we're all very passionate about what we do. I've been retired since April. I have to say, I loved it. I've been to Florida. Deborah, you're going to love it. But I do have to say that when I came here, I felt so energized. And then I realized why I loved what I did so much. I mean, the energy that I get from entrepreneurs, I really think that you're really the engine that really moves the economy in this, not only the state of New York, but really in the nation, and how bold you are. And I always admired that. And now that I'm retired and I'm on this end of the side of the river in terms of wanting to also launch my own business, I really appreciate conferences like the Competitive Edge. The fact that we have all these state agencies, we have all these large corporations, and all in one room, and being able to network. Now I recognize the importance of that even more. And my fellow colleagues, I really enjoyed always organizing this event. I miss my Port Authority family, but they're doing great things, being headed up by Michael Messiah, who's our Chief Diversity Officer. A lot of great things at JFK and LaGuardia. I still feel like a Port Authority person. The first thing I did was go to the exhibit room and see that we had all our materials laid out. And then I had to tell myself, Ida, you're not doing that anymore. So I got to really try to enjoy myself, but I'm really excited. You guys have really gotten me energized, and I really look to launch my own business, and I really do appreciate all that you have done. And my fellow colleagues, and Ada especially, she's doing a great job, and all the planning committee members, I congratulate you, all the honorees. Wow, you really inspire me. So thank you very much for this Legacy Award. Thank you.
Here to present our final award for this Competitive Edge Awards luncheon, please welcome Charlotte Hamamjian of the New York City Department of Education.
So I know we're all eager to get through the rest of today's events, but I am so incredibly in awe of our next honoree that I'm going to give a little bit of just background to his story. So given the Department of Education's mission of cultivating, supporting, and recognizing the talents and successes of our youth, I could not be more proud to be presenting this year's Rising Star Award to Corey Nieves. Corey, who is better known as Mr. Corey, combined his love of treats and entrepreneurial spirit to start Mr. Corey's Cookies at the ripe old age of 8. Motivated by wanting to take a car rather than the bus to school, and with his mother's encouragement, he started selling hot cocoa to raise funds. Cocoa expanded to lemonade, lemonade expanded to cookies, and well, here we are here today. After taste testing and baking for months, Mr. Corey and his mom, Cookie Mom, found the perfect recipe: delectable cookies that are all natural and made from high-quality organic ingredients. On a personal note, I had an opportunity to taste test one of them earlier today, and they did not disappoint. They're also going to be on sale at the end of today's event. Through his business, Mr. Corey has been able to work with some of the nation's leading companies and brands, including, to name just a notable few, It Sugar, Bloomingdale's, Citibank, Macy's, Mercedes-Benz, Viacom, Whole Foods, and Williams & Sonoma. As if it's not already apparent how awesomely cool Mr. Corey is, and might I say, has a great sense of style, Mr. Corey's Cookies Facebook page has almost 38,000 likes and over 30,000 followers on Instagram. As his business grew, he caught the nation's attention when he appeared on an inspiring episode of season 3 of Ellen DeGeneres' show, MasterChef Junior. As someone who knows the value of a mother that encourages and supports her child's dreams, I want to also take a moment to recognize his mom, Cookie Mom, who's also here today. As his success is definitely hers as well. But today's moment is for Mr. Corey, and it is my absolute pleasure to award Mr. Corey and Mr. Corey's Cookies the Rising Star Award on behalf of the Competitive Edge. Congratulations.
Once I can put this here, so I won't drop. Actually, it's gonna break. I broke a lot of glass in my life, so I know. How is everyone doing today? Good, good. Well, I want to say thank you to my mom, my cookie team, all my cookie customers for helping me get here, because if it wasn't for them, there would be no Mr. Grace cookies. Let me fix this. That sounds crazy. There we go. Okay. There won't be no Mr. Grace cookies because they are the bloodline of Mr. Grace cookies. I also want to say that this award is also for my team and my mom, because they are they are the people who make Mr. Grace cookies. And I also want to tell the story of Mr. Grace cookies, because you probably don't know a lot. Like we said, we started it for my mom because we moved to New Jersey. We didn't have a car, and we wanted to get a car. Didn't know how much a car will cost, so I just started selling hot chocolate and cookies. Then we started 2012. We incorporated a business into LLC Corporation, and we started growing, getting more customers, more clients, and now we ship nationwide online, which is a good thing, which is amazing. We also keep getting more clients and learning, and we still learn today. I also want to say that my mom is my #1 inspiration, and thank you for the award. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe my time here is completed. Let's welcome back the lovely Miss Cheryl Wills.
I think I'm going to do that on Live at 10 tonight. Welcome to Live at 10. I'm Cheryl Wills with your latest stories. Can we give a round of applause to Michael Maxnabi? This is the best voice of God, and I do a lot of these. But I want to say to you, sir, you are an inspiration to all of us. Because he is grabbing the bull by the horns, and are you in high school yet?
I'm getting there, yeah.
And I got to tell you, I love to support all of your businesses, but especially this. This cookie is delicious. It's on sale over there. And I heard them say that you were on Ellen.
Yep, Ellen and MasterChef Junior.
That's cool, but listen to me. Yeah. When you get on New York 1, you're on every hour for 3 weeks. We're going to have you on New York 1.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you.
And these are 3 for $4?
Yes, 3 for $4.
How'd you come to that price point?
Well, but first it was 3 for $1, but we didn't know, so we later on we learned about finances and everything, so we changed it.
This boy's on his way. Young man is on his way. Give him another round of applause. Bravo. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. It was an honor to be here with you this afternoon. That alone was worth the price of admission, I got to tell you. Thank you, Michael Max. Thank you, Bronx Net Television, for being a part of this wonderful event, for all the speeches. I'm sure you've gathered why this event is so important. I'm inspired by the generational gaps. Keep growing, keep building, and keep making this city the great city that it is, because small businesses are the backbone. Let us never forget that, the backbone of our economy. So have a lovely afternoon. See you tonight at 10 o'clock. Thanks, everybody.